brave and true. It is my duty to protect my family.
Ancestors, please protect her.
What is your name, soldier?
Hua Jun, Commander, son of Hua Zhou.
We're going to make men out of every single one of you. Close the gate!
The spirit is evident, but something holds you back.
When they find out who you are, they will show you no mercy. I'm Hua Mulan. I will bring honor to us all.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, and today I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about a new movie that dropped that was supposed to be out in theaters back in March at the very beginning of the pandemic, called MULAN. And as you might have heard, this is the Disney live-action version of MULAN. The movie that cost with a budget of over $200 million, filmed in various parts of China and also in New Zealand. The large budget, not only due to an amazing cast of actors and actresses, everyone from Jet Li to Donnie Yen to Gong Li. Disney really bent over backwards to appease the Chinese market and for them to welcome their version of Mulan with open arms. And, you know, honestly, after watching this film, you know, I don't know what more they could have done. They did everything that they possibly could have done. And they did a fabulous job. So without further ado, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's bad to see. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And of course, for Mulan, the 2020 live action version based on the previous Disney cartoon version, it is a strong shock a thumbs up. Now, during the fall, no wait, during spring, if you would ask me what movie I thought was going to do the best at the box office, I probably would have said Tenet. You know, I had no idea that Mulan, the Disney film, the live-action Disney film, was going to blow Tenet away. Tenet, as you saw my review, left a rather less than desirable taste in my mouth, but I was satisfied the entire way through with Mulan. Like I said, Disney really, hit for the fences in this one. Again, this stars all the great Chinese actors and martial artists, such as Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Gong Li, even. The villain, played by Jason Scott Lee, a Khan, possibly a descendant to Genghis Khan, that wishes to take over China, dethrone the emperor, played by Jet Li. And so Jet Li, the emperor of China, calls forth his armies to defend against these raiders of bandits and mongrels, essentially. In doing so, he calls an edict out from his kingdom throughout the land that every family must devote a son to the army, so that they can defend all of China. and by extension the emperor himself. Unfortunately, you come to Mulan's family, who has no sons, only has 2 daughters, but with Mulan being much of a tomboy, decides to go behind her father's back and enlist, thus sparing him having to go into the army once again and meet certain death, since he is elderly and has a bad leg from a former time of war in the past. He had trained her as a tomboy in various martial arts. Her fighting skills, her chi was very strong, which put her at odds with many of the other women and her mother in the village, especially, the matchmaker, who would try to arrange marriages throughout the village. And other than the head man, and even in some cases beyond the head man, the matchmaker in the village holds much of the power, definitely the highest power in the village in ancient China. And when it is deemed that she was unfit to be married off, that was a great dishonor to her family. So facing that and the possibility of saving her father, she decides that she has nothing left to lose but to go in her father's place and disguise herself in her father's armor, to be a boy, to be the son for her family, and join the army, the Imperial Army. Now Gong Li plays the witch who works for or is enslaved by Jason Scott Lee's character, and with her help of magic and disguise and manipulation, she is able, along with his forces, to easily sneak into many of the garrisons, overthrowing them, throwing much of the emperor's and China's forces into disarray. Donnie Yen leads the regiment that Mulan has joined, trains her up along with various other younger male soldiers, and they fight a winning battle against Jason Scott Lee's forces, only to discover that it is a trap or a ruse, where the majority of Jason Scott Lee's forces are going directly against the Emperor. As the Emperor, all these skirmishes, he has sent all of his forces away outside of the Imperial City. Later to what we would call now in Beijing the Forbidden City. And thus, Donnie Yen, Mulan's character, Mulan, rush, along with that regiment, rush over in a last-ditch effort to save the Emperor. Newcomer Yifei Liu, Yifei Liu plays Mulan, and she does an excellent job as this character, both in the dramatic sense and also the action, whereas she does some of her own stunts. There's a lot of wire work, not so much, not like a hardcore martial arts that you would see in like most Hong Kong movies, but definitely, a very well established Hollywood production of that. When I saw this film, along with the physicality that all the actors were doing, I naturally thought of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers, and to name many, many others. Even The Curse of the Golden Lotus is the size and scope of the scenery and the sets for this Mulan movie. Gong Li said that the sets of, say, the Imperial Palace areas, where of course they naturally could not film in the Forbidden City in Beijing themselves, so they had to recreate much and many of those sets, looked amazing and fabulous. You know, scattered across much of what we have already seen of New Zealand. It fills in for the mountainous regions of China beautifully, along with possibly some of the deserts of China as well. What more can I say about this this movie? It is brilliant. It is a shock of thumbs up. Everyone does exceptionally well in this movie. I was very, very impressed and surprised. I knew Disney was going to do a good job, but I did not know that it would do as good a job as it did. Up before this, I would say their best live-action version of any of their animated shows or movies was Beauty and the Beast, but this knocks it out of the park. Or maybe even Aladdin, but this is far, far superior to either of those other films. Now, there's no singing in this. This is a very dramatic, with touches of comedy aspects in this show. So, you know, I never had the benefit or the detriment of seeing the animated Mulan. Much like Beauty and the Beast, which I did not see the cartoon version, the animated version either. I chose not to before the films because I wanted to go into this fresh, knowing that it was going to be its own thing, especially. That being said, you know, back in the 90s when this stuff came out, I was definitely not interested in seeing any kidsy movie from Disney, and which is again a much more delight when I see a film like this with them taking it serious and not much any comedic, you know, silly dragon, no Eddie Murphy in this, as you have heard from all of the makings of the scene. There is a CGI phoenix, which is Mulan's family crest. So that plays a small part of the movie, but nothing to rival that of the cartoon dragon that Eddie Murphy had played in the previous version. Again, a strong shock of thumbs up to this. Now, also, in addition to those other movies of just size and scope, as far as overall tale, I would also compare this to the Keanu Reeves 47 Ronin. Now, I know what you're saying. That movie was bad, but it at its heart and at its core, it was a solid movie. You know, the story and the budget kind of clunked along a little bit, and I'll admit that last fight scene in the third act was very poorly done. But if you just look at the overall other story foundation of it, you have the villains, men coming in to take over, you know, against a lord, a good lord, ruling the land. Using a woman who uses magic to both do deception and assassination so that his forces can be put into positions of power. You have a very similar kind of theme with this. But rest assured, Mulan does it much, much better. So yes, I highly recommend this. I would say it is worth the extra $30 on top of your membership to Disney Plus to watch this movie. That being said, if you are alone, maybe just wait until December when it is free with your Disney Plus membership to watch. Outside of that, I would say definitely just go ahead and get together with a large group of friends. If you have, you know, say if you have multiple children, that really love Disney movies, then they'll love this as well, along with you. Make kind of a party of it. Invite people over that you know you can trust, who are COVID-free, and, you know, kind of do a safe social gathering event and watch this movie like that. That would be the best way to go ahead and watch this movie and get your money's worth for that extra $30 price tag. It is a definite shame that Disney, that COVID affected Disney with Mulan so much, because I think it really would have done a great job at the box office. And it is a shame that it won't experience, you know, the cinematic event that it was supposed to be way back in March, before we realized what the coronavirus was. And so I doubt Disney will make its monies back on that $200 million budget. But I think it will still get some accolades for this movie, because they really did swing for the fences with the size, scope, and scale of this epic fantasy adventure movie, martial art movie, which it very much is. So if you like any of those items, you will definitely want to check out this new Mulan movie from Disney on Disney Plus. If not now for the extra $30, then definitely later in December when it is free and streaming on Disney Plus. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, giving Mulan 2020 a shaka thumbs up all the way. All right, thank you so much, and aloha.